What's up, people? I'm Shaggy, the opinionated hippie, continuing my deep dive into this box set, the Bob Dylan and the band Complete 1974 live recordings from the tour they did that year, Bob's first time touring in 8 years. And I'm pulling these discs out as we go. 27 disc set. I get to pull out 3 more discs today. So I'm going to discuss the 3 shows from Madison Square Garden in New York City. The last 2 days of January. I think the first shows were, January 3rd. So we're 4 weeks into the tour. Madison Square Garden, center of the universe, as far as I think Bob says that at some point. It's a rare privilege to be here. Not really the center of the universe, but, for a lot of performers. Today, NBA, Madison Square Garden. It's still where you want to play. We get 3 shows. None of them are complete. The first show is missing, I think, 3 songs from it. 3 songs from the electric set. That's on the 30th. The show on the 31st from the afternoon, we only have 9 songs, and not even all of those are complete. And then the last show, the evening of the 31st, we're missing the intro. I think that's the only thing we're missing. The intro to All Along the Watchtower. That's the cover to that, but that's it. So I'm going to talk about these 3, rank these 3 amongst themselves. And then I will include these 3 and all the other 16 I've already done. So yeah, we'll be through with all the way through disc 19 after this. So the one that's bottom ranked easily is the one on the 31st, the afternoon. It only has 9 songs. We're missing a whole bunch of electric stuff. The first song on here is All Along the Watchtower. Kind of neat to have that as a first listen. Great opener. So that's kind of cool. I think they closed out, I think in the electric set, right? Bob did a bunch of songs and the band played them. Bob did more electric songs. I think Watchtower either closed or opened that. It's a good opener. We get a really nice ballad of Hollis Brown. Doesn't seem to be quite as swampy as the versions from Texas. Or even, definitely not as swampy as the versions from Texas. At least this version isn't. But it's still kind of nasty. Robbie's got some great licks in it. We get a Knocking on Heaven's Door. Times They Are Changing. Don't Think Twice, all right. Gates of Eden then starts to fade out around the 3-minute mark. So we don't get all of Gates of Eden. Then we get a Forever Young. And then, because Something There Is About You Is Now Gone, we get what I believe is the first of the tour, but the first of this box set, a Highway 61 Revisited live, which is absolutely, absolutely fantastic. It's joyous. It's free. The band sounds like they're having a good time. They're locked in on this vibe. The Highway 61s are absolutely amazing. And this one is. And then we get a Rolling Stone, about 4 minutes. And then it also starts to fade out. Drums on it are absolutely fantastic. 9 songs, not all of them complete. What we have here is not a bad listen, mainly because the Watchtower is fantastic. The Hollis Brown is fantastic. The acoustic stuff's good performance, and the Highway 61 is just smoking. But of the 3, my least favorite, number 2 in the New York run would be the show on January 30th, 1974. This is the first of the 3 MSG shows we get in this box set. I would say that I always think that maybe there's a word that Bob wants the band to focus on, literally the band and himself. And to me, coming into New York City, I think there's articles floating around about it. Everybody wanted to be in attendance, a bunch of other famous people. This was an event. Bob Dylan and the band MSG. So I'm thinking his word was purposeful, because this does not sound like a band that's overwhelmed by the stage or by the energy, not even feeding off it. So it's an over-the-top performance. It feels like a really honed in, precise, still lots of really cool details, but the band seems like they're completely under control from start to finish. It sounds amazing. The energy is great. Yeah, same set list that we've been getting. This would be the last Something There Is About You, which is sad because I still enjoyed this one as much as I enjoyed the other ones. Um, the set list is the same as all of them. Opens up with the Most Likely You Go Your Way. The organ, especially in this, is very, very swirly, adding a nice psych dimension to it. The mixes change from show to show, probably because they're performing in different venues. Anytime that organ mix is a little bit higher, that organ sound is higher in the mix, it really provides a lot of these songs with this like very late 60s swirling psychedelic vibe that is works really well. This Most Likely kind of benefits from that at times. Lay Lady Lay has just really upbeat, happy energy. Tom Thumb's Blues, Robbie is just absolutely smoking. This is a pretty like straightforward, mainstream, purposeful rock version of just like Tom Thumb's Blues. And Robbie is stepping forward in just all the licks and all the little fills he has and the solo he kind of has to close out the song. Absolutely fantastic. Then we're missing a bunch of songs, unfortunately. We're missing Rainy Day Women, It Ain't Me, Babe, Ballad of a Thin Man. We come back in with a Watchtower that's really good. Robbie is all squiggly, shredding from the beginning, making that guitar make just weird noises. The Robbie, yeah, just absolutely straight rocking. Ballad of Hollis Brown, we're getting swampy and nasty. This one has a little more of that Texas swamp sound to it. Robbie's snarl is all over this. My notes wrote, there's that Bayou energy is in New York City for this performance. It's swampy and it's dirty and it's southern and just has that just uncomfortable, like just slightly threatening because you're in a world that, like, for me, I'm not familiar with, right? So it has that just like you're way off the grid. You're like, there's alligators. Like, there's a vibe about this. Plus, being that the song is about somebody who kills people, that vibe is an uncomfortable vibe. And it works. It works perfectly. Yeah, really, really good energy for Ballad of Hollis Brown. And then Knocking on Heaven's Door kind of like brings us down, has a cooler vibe, and then we bring back up the momentum. Really awesome crowd for the acoustic stuff. They are responding enthusiastically. The acoustic stuff has a lot of energy. It's bouncy. For Gates of Eden, it kind of focuses itself. Yeah, just really good. Just Like a Woman has a lot of emotion in it. Bob's tapped into the crowd, tapped into the audience. Absolutely fantastic. Then we get the electric stuff to close out. Really nice Forever Young. The energy coming back from the acoustic stuff is really nice. Kind of eases us back into this. The last Something There Is About You, which I'm going to miss. The band sounds incredible. The song sounds incredible. Love the line, me and Danny Lopez. Going to miss Danny Lopez. But yeah, this is a really good performance of that. Nice, really epic sounding like a Rolling Stone. Sounds like a rock and roll closer. Most Likely You Go Your Way. Band does not sound tired. It sounds like they're ready to play. Almost sounds like a band at the end of like a long extended run. Like, hey, we're going to be back tomorrow. We're going to do some more shows. We still got lots of energy. And then we get the first Blowing in the Wind. It's the last song. Has a very grand end of the show feel to it. The energy kind of dips a little bit. It's maybe purposefully slower. They would continue to play it, and even by the next show or by the next disc, the one for the 19 that I'm going to talk about next, the energy is a lot bigger in this, even though it still has that grand end of the show feeling. But this is a fantastic show from start to finish. Disc 17, which means my favorite is disc 19, which is pretty much a complete show. What we're missing is a little bit of the intro to All Along the Watchtower, but it's not much. Pretty much the exact same set list as the one I just talked about. Highlights are many, many, many. To me, the word for this was like, seriously. Like, let's take this seriously. Like, this is a evening show, Madison Square Garden. Let's make our intros tight, like make our outros tight. Let's do everything with like a grand rock and roll seriousness. And it doesn't really hurt the show. I mean, this is a fantastic, fantastic show and may have the best post-acoustic electric portion of any of these shows yet. The closing Highway 61, Like a Rolling Stone, Most Likely You Go Your Way trio is like next level. The band is firing on all cylinders. This is New York worthy. This is like what you expect from like a Big Apple show. They are nailing it. The entire show has that vibe, but it also seems kind of serious. Like the intro to Rainy Day Women, it's almost like they're 1, 2, 3, 4, like they counted in before they come in. There's a lot of songs on previous shows where it's like, you know, Robbie will start a chord, or you know, a piano keyboard player will start something, or you know, some lone musician in the band starts it, and they all kind of stumble in. A lot of these songs seem to be like, okay, 1, 2, go, like we're counting them in, we're tight. Really interesting. Even like It Ain't Me, Babe. Dylan starts it off singing. He just starts singing it, and the band comes in after him, which I don't know. That goes against my whole point. But interesting choice. But yeah, everything about this show is just, it's like you could record this show and release it, and it would say great representation of what the band sounds like. It's almost the template for what they do. They can get swampier, they can get like maybe sleazier, they can be brighter, they can do all these different things, but this is like the template for how they can do it just perfectly. Really good show. Lay Lady Lay, great energy. Tom Thumb's Blues, a lot of, I think it's accordion is in the mix. This is a weirdly mixed show. Robbie Robertson is definitely not as prominent in the mix, which makes it a different experience. A lot more keyboard presence, a lot more organ presence, a lot more bass presence, especially early. Not as much Robbie. So we're kind of, it feels like different performances, but you can still, you know, if you listen carefully, pick out those moments. Robbie's bopping in. The Rainy Day Women definitely has tightened up since those Texas shows. Still feels like this just full band locked in, but it doesn't feel quite as loose. It Ain't Me, Babe is super bouncy, super jaunty. Feels like a crowd favorite. Feels like everybody's dancing along. Awesome vibe for It Ain't Me, Babe. And then Ballad of a Thin Man. I think that's the perfect example of, to me, like, it's like a perfectly executed studio version of the Ballad of a Thin Man. Piano comes in, and then Robbie's got some licks, and the song starts, and the organ does these fills. Like, everybody's playing their parts seriously and perfectly as if they were recording it to be released. And that's not saying it's bad. It still is exciting and alive, but there is something very, I don't want to use the word polished, but like they're just nailing it like they know they're supposed to nail it for this entire show. Would I want to hear this night after night after night? Probably not. I like those raw edges. But at this point in the tour, like, it's just all clicking and it's all working. Like every trick they learned in every previous version of these songs, they're like, let's do all those tricks tonight and just make it work. Ballad of a Thin Man, fantastic. All Along the Watchtower, Robbie's closing solo on this is just blistering. Hollis Brown, definitely not as funky, definitely not as swampy, but it's still just weird and herky-jerky, and it's got attitude. Dylan almost seems to be like slur yelling all the words, like, 3-man kill, like just a lot of energy, but not a lot of effort to clearly enunciate what he's singing, but the energy is there, the performance is there. Like he's letting sort of the energy of the song dictate his singing and not the actual words that need to be sung. But it works. It's a big, blustery, raucous version of Hollis Brown. And then Knocking on Heaven's Door, they bring it down nicely, but then there's just a whole bunch of nice little eyebrows added by the band. The acoustic section is a little inconsistent. I think the times, and Don't Think Twice, Bob's trying a little bit too hard, and it's not until Gates of Eden when I think he kind of finds his focus. But once he finds his focus and slows down, it really helps deliver a pretty impactful Gates of Eden, and I think one of the best Just Like a Woman I've heard. It's just an absolutely fantastic woman, emotional, harmonica solo's fantastic, and then we close out with an It's All Right, Ma. And then the electric portion is just amazing. The Forever Young starts off with a full band drop in, but it's nice and soft. Everything's tightened up. And then the Highway 61 Revisited is just an absolute beast. It's like a psychedelic electric traveling circus just as rolling through the arena. It is so much fun. It is funky. It's tight. The mix, like lets every single musician kind of stand out at different times. Robbie's soloing in this is fantastic. Highway 61 is just a complete home run. That energy transfers to Like a Rolling Stone, which feels celebratory. Most Likely You Go Your Way is just a absolute beast. And then Blowing in the Wind, you can see the lighters being held up. You can feel the end of the show vibe. Like, the arena has been transformed. This is a fantastic show. But where would I rank it? Here's the thing. I recognize it, but if I had to rank them among all of them, it's my favorite out of the New York ones. But I have it at number 6. Only because I think, as like for the reasons I kind of just said earlier, like I would say everything, the top 9 for sure, maybe even that Atlanta, are just fantastic. I'm excited to go back and re-listen to those. None of these have really been bad. But I'm going to put this at number 6 only because I think like those early, there's an edge and a rawness and a like, oops, that didn't work out, but we tried it kind of coolness about some of those earlier shows, even though they're still firing on all cylinders and everything's working. I think as great as the last portion of the electric set is, it almost feels a little too like we nailed that leading up to there in a really weird, specific way. I'm just nitpicking. I have it in 6. I have the disc 17, the other 30th show at 8. These are both fantastic shows. They may go up as I revisit these. I've only listened to them twice just because try to go through it with these reviews. And then I have the other one, the short one, not last. I have it at 16 because there's something really cool about only listening to 9 songs, and especially when the performances are that good and you get that Highway 61 revisited in there. And I may grab that when I only need like a little, like a shot of Dylan instead of like a full drink. I might grab that 18 disc prior to probably those other 3, which are solid, but just maybe not remarkable. None of them have been bad. But that's my favorite out of the New York ones. Disc 19. Yeah, good listen. Let me know what you think of these shows, these performances of these discs, all that stuff. Yeah, subscribe, like, share, comment, and that's it. Go listen to Bob Dylan. And like I said in the last one, there is a sampler of this that's out there. I don't believe you can buy it. You can only stream it. It's intended to be streamed for free. The sampler is worth checking out because these are fantastic performances. And even if you can't get the box set, check out the sampler. It's a great listen. All right. Thanks for watching. Talk to you later. Peace.